Our third storyteller this evening is a good friend of ours here at the Moth. It is Mr. James Petersen. Make some noise, y'all. Don't waste time thinking about it, James. Don't wear shoes. Get over it.
Thank you. When I was 16, I lived in Darien, Connecticut, which at the time was the wealthiest city in America. That meant when you were 16 and got your driver's license, you inherited the family hand-me-down, the car your father had bought for his midlife crisis. The parking lot of Darien High School was full of, I kid you not, Triumphs, MGBs, Alfa Romeos, a Jaguar. When my best friend turned 16, he did so before me, he acquired his father's Carmen Ghia, a nifty little German two-seater. And of course, seeking to impress as many people as possible, he suggested we go on a double date. I had to climb in the back seat. It wasn't a seat, it was a luggage compartment with my girlfriend. And by necessity, we were forced into positions of such complexity. Forget first base, second base, third base. We attained levels of intimacy that were just beyond description, and we certainly had more fun than the couple in the front because they were sitting in bucket seats separated by a parking brake and a gear shift. And whether or not you know it, bucket seats were the most effective form of birth control ever. No one ever got in trouble in a car with bucket seats. My family wasn't wealthy. When I got my license, I had to drive the family car. We only had one. Originally it was a Pontiac station wagon, but my dad had traded it in for a Volkswagen Squareback, a car that also had bucket seats. I gave it a try. I invited a girl from my Latin class to go to the drive-in movie to see the fall of the Roman Empire. A 3-hour epic. If I couldn't get lucky in 3 hours, I'm sorry, there was no hope. So I gave it a try. I put my arm around her shoulder across the Great Divide, and it remained there for 3 hours solid. What a loser. It took me a week to regain feeling in that arm. I had to do something. My family had a simple rule. If you wanted something, you had to work, earn money, save, and then buy it. And I set out to buy the family's first second car. And I worked my ass off, and one day I gave my dad $158. And he returned with a used 1952 Plymouth sedan, a kind of dusty turquoise car. That vehicle was the envy of absolutely no one at my high school. But it had a bench seat. Brief lesson in American history, cars used to come with a front seat that stretched uninterrupted from one side to the other. It was like having a sofa in a rec room with your own sound system. My girlfriend at the time, I was dating a girl that we played in a folk group together, and we would throw our guitars in the back of the car, drive to the beach, and I have to tell you that singing with that woman was better than sex. Only someone who had not yet had sex would say that. But we managed to get into trouble. We go into the drive-in movie, and I think we fell asleep. But the next morning, my mom found a long strand of hair around the window crank and said, "What's this?" And I couldn't remember, had we ever gotten in that position? I was grounded. When I regained use of the Plymouth, I had a curfew. My mom said to me, "If you're out after midnight, you're up to no damn good." And I kind of puzzled, well, does that mean if whatever it was I was doing at 11:55, which was damn good, if I could last just a little bit longer, it would turn into something else? And she also left me with this enigmatic statement: a gentleman always carries a handkerchief. That was the only sexual guidance I got from my mother. The Plymouth died, and my dad broke down and bought a second car, a used VW Bug. Bucket seats. I would not have sex until I left for college. What I did have was 3 accidents. None of them were my fault, but the insurance company told my parents that if they ever found me behind the wheel of a car and I was not driving someone to an emergency room, they would drop the policy, cancel the policy. So I switched to motorcycles. I still ride motorcycles. A woman pressed into your back, her arms around your waist, kissing you on the back of your neck. The look on the faces of people in the car next to you, that's the stuff of envy.